Alright, here we have a quote from the murderous, dishonest Macbeth. Just after he's killed Duncan, he looks down upon his body with the rest of the group of men in his castle, feigning surprise and shock. He's just killed the guards, actually. And this quote here is his excuse, really, for killing the guards. He's so shocked, he's so appalled by what's happened that he's killed the guards in a furious temper. Obviously, we know he's killed the guards because he wants to blame them for the murder, but the characters don't know that. So let's have a look at this then. Here lay Duncan. Well, this is dramatic irony, isn't it? It's what I've just talked about. We know Macbeth has just murdered Duncan. Lady Macbeth knows Macbeth has just murdered Duncan. The only people who don't know are all the other characters. So that's dramatic irony. Macbeth is feigning shock and surprise here that Duncan is dead in his castle. Feigning because he's just killed him. But the other characters don't know that. So we've got that dramatic irony there that makes us immediately start to hate Macbeth. And then we've got this juxtaposition with this evil Macbeth being dishonest and deceitful and murderous, with Duncan, who's described by Macbeth himself as having silver skin. Now, I think it's a beautiful quotation. The imagery of silver, the alliteration of silver skin, emphasising that, symbolises the goodness and purity of Duncan. Silver connotes wealth. Now, I'm not saying this means that it's saying that Duncan is a rich man. He certainly was, because he was king. But it's talking about his wealth to Scotland, his value to Scotland, and his value to the people in the room as a friend, as a leader. That's what it's talking about for me, his silver skin, his purity and his value, his wealth. And it's reinforced with his golden blood. Now, gold has all the same sort of connotations that silver has, really, doesn't it? But here, blood is used as a motif throughout the play as well. And here, Duncan's golden blood reinforces what I just said about his silver skin. And obviously, it's blood that symbolises the guilt later in the play that both Macbeth and Lady Macbeth start to feel. We then got this contrast of the sort of silver skin, golden blood, beautiful images with gashed stabs, this violent imagery of the gashes. We see that word gashes elsewhere with Banquo's 20 trenchant gashes later. And again, this is the violent imagery of Macbeth's evil, murderous side. And then finally, we've got the fact that he looked like a breach in nature. This is because the great chain of being has been broken. Now, there's more of that in the context box. There'll be more of that elsewhere on the website. But the great chain of being is the idea that God has ordered the universe in its importance, with himself at the top, really, all the way down to rocks at the bottom, with animals, plants, humans, everything organised in order. To break that would be to break the universe. And that's exactly what Macbeth has done, because he's killed the king. And he's going to place himself as king, therefore messing up the great chain of being. It's a breach in nature. And in the link quotations box there in the left-hand side in red, you can see some of the things that happen because the nature has been breached, such as night becoming day, predators becoming prey to the prey themselves, and of course Duncan's horses turning wild in nature and even starting to eat each other.